like you said, your ancestors have been teaching
Yes.
and you have education, like, you have a greater concept of education than any of us over here.
Mhm.
So my question is like, from the past history, maybe like past 100 years,
Mhm.
we have seen education being more or less the same and inside a classroom.
Mhm.
So going forward with the AI like booming up, assisting humans in the day-to-day life,
Mhm.
where do you see AI or education in like, practicality going up in the future?
So the way that we've educated people for the last 100 years, that model is dead.
Dead.
AI has absolutely destroyed that wall, completely destroyed that wall when it comes to that. And education right now is floundering to catch up with all of that. So there's a couple things that are going on. So you think about what's supposed to happen in the classroom, right? It's supposed to be our journey where we go from point A to point B, and we learn all of these things. But what happens specifically? I'll give you two answers. What happens specifically when you learn? When you learn, there's these neurons in your brain that start to fire. You're trying to grapple with something. You're trying to learn calculus or derivative or whatever. You're trying to learn
Correct.
something. You have to struggle to get through it.
Correct.
And there's neurons in your brain that's trying to learn the pattern, and we say neurons that wire together fire
Fire.
together. That means that you've learned something, and there's a clump of neurons in your brain that represents that thing that you just learned.
Perfect.
And then you look at AI. What happens when all of that is just skipped over? So now you have a generation of folks that's going to college where you don't have that. The word I use in my book is called productive struggle.
Correct.
Productive struggle is the learning. That's what makes you.
That is
That's how
exactly
you
my point.
learn
Yes.
stuff. And when you go into, you have a technology that allows you to skip over that, it literally is messing with the wiring in your brain.
Perfect.
You don't learn it. What you've learned is you've learned how to outsource your cognition. You haven't learned whatever it is you're trying to learn. You've learned how to ask the AI for that. That is going to, if we're not careful, this is the largest uncontrolled experiment in human history. We have no idea what's going to happen as we kind of graduate students that have not learned the basics. They've just learned how to outsource that
Okay.
to the AI. That's a serious danger. The flip side of that is, and this is what I try to do in my classes, is there's two ways that you can interface with this. You can outsource your cognition, and if you do that, then cognitive rot will kick in immediately. In
Right.
fact, we've already seen this. If you even look at GPSs, there's so much research right now that shows people that rely on the GPS for their driving, their hippocampus is smaller. Their
Right.
spatial awareness is deficient because they've outsourced all of that navigation to the GPS. And if
I think
we,
I'm one of them.
yeah, same.
I think I just totally depend on the Google Maps wherever I go.
Same. Same. But what happens when we have AI and it happens at scale across
It's a serious
everything?
concern. It's a serious concern.
Everything. And so, what I try to do, at least in my classes, is I try to take the opposite approach. I try to do this thing, in my book, we call it's meta prompting, is what we do. If you use this thing appropriately, then it can enhance your capabilities. It can enhance your understanding. So as you grapple with something, as you try to learn something, if you quote meta prompt so that the AI assists you, the AI is your consultant and not your replacement, those people are going to blossom. That is the future. That's where education has to go. How can we create these AI enhanced humans? Because it's
Right.
that AI human collaboration that's going to make all the difference in the world. There's two tracks, one of two tracks. The people that are cheating, using AI just to do stuff, you're just cheating yourself, and then the market will just weed you right out.
Yeah.
The people, because I like to think that I'm a superhuman because I
Right.
can do things now I couldn't do before AI. The
Right.
people can start and launch successfully one person businesses that can make millions of dollars if you use AI to enhance your capabilities. Education hasn't caught up with that yet.
Right. But like having a follow-up question again with that is that, like you said, the cognition of a human is not being used. To be honest, on the personal side, I've been seeing AI like come into my education directly when I was doing my undergrad.
Mhm.
So maybe in the year 2021, I started it, and I can see the AI was blooming up in 2022, and where my professors could see AI in the reports or if
Sure.
any kind of like research papers. So honestly, I felt more satisfying getting my studies like done by myself, like putting in my efforts and like, trying to solve the math and get things done.
Yeah.
But in today's day, I'm not saying we're not doing it, but I'm
Sure.
just saying that we're skipping most of the part, like you said.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel it's a concerning part for the future generation because they might lose the ability to even like do something like what we were doing, and that could actually collapse the civilization. Is what my thoughts were, but it's totally bizarre. What's your thoughts on that?
Same. I mean, I have young kids that are in 11, 15, and a 26-year-old. My 11 and 15-year-old, I don't let them use AI. I
Okay.
don't let them use AI at all because two reasons. One, their brain is still forming. Number one, their brain's still forming. Your brain doesn't even finish developing until you're 22 years old. That's when it finishes. And so if your brain is still forming and you've outsourced your cognition, then that's going to impact you for life. We think, right? This is early on, right? This is the largest uncontrolled experiment ever. And so I don't let them use AI because I know that in a brain that's still forming, it is damaging to them to outsource their thinking. It will cripple them for life. That
Gives
is
them a
the
shortcut.
absolutely. And then they never learn the basics. And so what I think, and the research is still out on this, what I think is that you have to productive struggle. So my book is AI and the Art of Productive Struggle. You need to struggle through as your brain is forming, and then as you get into college, then at that point, then you have to look at how you can use AI to scaffold your
Your
thinking,
struggle
to
knowledge.
enhance your thinking, to start looking at bigger, broader problems. So for instance, if I want to learn calculus, I need to learn the fundamentals of calculus, period. If I need to learn physics, I need to learn the
Fundamental
fundamentals,
physics.
period. But then it reaches a point where I understand the fundamentals. Then it's not so much about the answers, it's about the questions. Then I can use AI to say, hey, I want to understand quantum chromodynamics and how I can apply that in this use case and also integrate AI with that. Now I understand the fundamentals. Now AI is helping me to expand on the base of knowledge that I already have. But it's important that you do it in the right order. It's important that you engage because that's the biggest crime that we have right now is if you look at cars. Cars are engineered beautifully.
Right.
The cars, if you look at the engineering on a car, is perfect. But I had two accidents on the way up here. I didn't have the accidents. I saw two accidents on the way up here. And I promise you, the accidents were not the fault of the engineers. The
Right.
accident was the fault of the
Driver.
people, the
Correct.
drivers. And you look at AI is already engineered beautifully, but we haven't trained the
Ourself
people
enough.
how to interact with it in the way where you can enhance your superpowers to make you a superhuman. That's the problem.
I
So,
really, I really like the way you put uh, AI enhance humans. That's such a good term. So if there is a policy that you would like the universities all over the world to have about AI, what would that policy be?
So the policy that I think have the biggest impact would be around assessments. Because right now, the way that education is set up, we're basically grading answers.
Right.
And that is the wrong approach in my view.
Okay.
It's not about what you know, it's about how you think. And we're not grading the thinking process.
Right.
So assessments have to change.
Right.
So it's fine. In my classes, it's fine if you use AI, but I want to look at your prompt history. I want to see how you engaged AI. What was your contribution? Did you ask the AI to do everything? Did you just accept the outputs without thinking? Tell me how you got to the solution. The answers are cheap, free, and infinite. We can get answers anywhere now with
Right.
AI.
Right.
Where do you fit in this? And are you able to use AI in a way that enhances what it is? I need to make sure that learning has occurred. So assessments need to change. Assessments need to look more at the thought process, the thinking process, and less so at just the answers.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think professors like yourself and Dr. Fernando coach is quite like trying to implement that particular concept in your assessments in the final projects. So with that, like I had a really interesting experience with Dr. Fernando coach in my previous podcast. We were talking the same about the AI policies that needs to be implemented so that people get a diverse understanding about how exactly it needs to be used. And again, having a reference to your previous point when you said AI needs to be used after a certain age, giving a reference of your kids, how you're like growing them, which is really good. I feel AI is quite like a commodity which people need to use once, like something like gambling or something which is like, way more fun to do as adults. But then we don't understand that if teenagers get to have a chance on it, they might, get maybe they might misuse it in a wrong way and
Sure.
have a bad understanding about how it works. Because when we go for gambling, we don't know when to stop, but
Yeah.
the kids might not really know and don't have a limit,
Of
and that might
course.
exploit them.
Yep.
So, with that saying, but also on the contrary side of it, I feel that maybe if it is used with limitations to kids, it might help them enhance their research capabilities and get content more faster to get their cognitive capacities more expanded. So, what's your thoughts on that?
So two things. So the premise, the predicate in your question assumes that you have teachers in place that can guide the students in their learning journey.
Yes.
I don't think that that exists right now.
Okay.
I have not seen
Okay.
competent teachers. They're competent, they're great at what they do. They've just been trained in a model that is broken now. They don't understand it. They don't trust it. They're threatened by it. I've gone into many schools around here locally, and I've seen the attitude in a lot of places is the students are just using this to cheat.
Right.
And when you start with that premise, these are the people that I'm going to trust to train my kids on how to use it responsibly when they don't know how to use it. So I think that has to catch up first. We have to have a cultural shift first. And education is so weird too, because if you look out in industry, you're saying that from the perspective of, say, a business owner. And it makes perfect sense from a business owner. But inside of education, it's different because in education, it directly threatens what they do as professors, as teachers. It directly threatens them specifically. So they're uniquely challenged by this. And so there's a lot of resistance in education to say, we're just not going to use AI because a lot of people define who they are by what they do. And so this is an
Correct.
attack, it's an emotional attack on them that how they see AI. So until that changes, until we can have teachers that understand this well enough, where you have that intersection of AI and pedagogy and teaching come together, I think it'll be tough to get there.